Survive the night.
Survive the night.
Oh God! What's that? Oh God! Survive the night.
I watched
There's a-
Tetsuo,
There's
the
a
Iron
baby
Man.
that gets eaten in it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
see
so-
again there, Andy? See there? That's too
Oh my
much.
God.
Okay, just be careful. Jesus.
Yeah, you piece of shit.
Sorry, Tetsuo?
Tetsuo, the Iron Man. That movie was weird.
This was the black and white movie you were talking about in a previous episode,
Yeah,
right?
that I was really excited to watch. Watched it. It was really good. It's only an hour long. I guess people kind of compare it to Eraserhead as like the Japanese version. Much better than Eraserhead, in my opinion.
You son of a bitch.
And well before Eraserhead, right?
When did Eraserhead come out?
70 something.
No, I think Eraserhead came out first.
Oh, okay.
I think.
I love Eraserhead.
I saw it in theaters with you at the Rio, and
know.
I just didn't know what I was watching.
I think you just don't like it because it makes you uncomfortable.
Have you guys
It doesn't
seen
make me uncomfortable.
that? What's the guy's name? David Lynch. Forget what the name of it is, but he basically interrogates a monkey. It's like a 15-minute long Netflix show where he's literally interrogating a
I
monkey.
watched it, yes.
What was it called again? Do you remember?
Jack's back or something, or Jack is here. Jack Attack.
Jackie Chan.
What did Jack do? Have you seen this, Ryan?
I haven't, no, but I've heard of it.
You really should. It's really short.
It's really weird.
and it's so weird.
I'm not a huge fan of David Lynch, I guess.
Me neither.
Because
for
like
the most part.
I am.
Okay.
in
That's
all
a lot
his
of
like
stuff.
in all his interviews about like Eraserhead and stuff, when they're like, "Oh, well, what does this mean? What does this mean?" He's like, "I don't fucking know.
I love that.
I just
love that he just
made a movie."
I just love how he just doesn't give a solid response. He just wants to make people keep guessing.
There's also a song at the end of What Did Jack Do that the monkey sings. Oh, it's so good. What about you, Andy? Have you seen anything in the last couple of weeks since we've recorded last? I guess it would be since the last week.
Yeah, a couple of weeks.
I don't know. It felt like forever ago. I want to say that I personally listened to the last 3 episodes. If you haven't yet, there were Halloween 2018, part 1 and 2. We did 2 parts, and then Halloween Kills. And after Halloween Kills was over, I was like, shit, there's no more episodes to listen to. I was really enjoying my time with this podcast.
Yeah, it's like that meme that I posted where it's just me sitting in my own room listening to the podcast, laughing at my own jokes. I got nothing to watch, or sorry, to listen to, because I gotta wait like every 2 weeks for the new Last Podcast on the Left episode to come out. God damn it!
Oh, so we actually upload more frequently than they do.
We do quite a bit actually.
We're putting in the work because we're unknown losers.
And sorry, Andy, on that note, you, the loser, what have you watched this past week?
I watched the Italian horror movie Burial Ground, and it is a movie
It is a movie. Thanks.
about zombies.
It's all about gelato.
Is it?
What's that?
Is it about gelato?
Like, you could say that like
What?
a lot of the zombies on their faces have gelato.
This is a very terrible intro to this episode.
Okay,
It's just
here,
everywhere.
let's segue. So we talked about Mother a bit, and Ryan doesn't really consider Mother a horror movie. There's another movie that Ryan doesn't consider a horror movie. That movie's called Donnie Darko. Thanks for joining us on episode 11 of Survive the Night. My name is Amir, co-hosting with Andy.
Hey, how you doing?
Okay. And Ryan.
Yes.
And Donnie Darko actually came out October the 28th, 2001. So we're embarking on the 20th anniversary of this movie. I'll start first in terms of just my overall thoughts. I tend to kind of agree with Ryan that it's not necessarily a full-blown horror movie.
It's not at all.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm just
It's gonna be some fighting
you
on
need
this
a
episode.
lozenge?
I'm glad that you're between me and Ryan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like you said, it might
Arm
get violent.
It's not a horror. It's a sci-fi, like thriller, kind of indie. It was that edgy movie I watched as a teenager, being like, "You guys see Donnie Darko?"
Yeah, no, that
As
was,
you had your swoopy hair
Yes.
and I wanted
and
to
had
be,
hair.
I imagined myself. I imagined myself to be Donnie Darko. I was like, yeah, this is the guy I want to be. He's
Yeah,
he's
you wanted to be
smart.
like a psychopath.
Yeah, I mean, he's a smart psychopath.
I
though.
did want to be the same thing too.
His
That's-
SAT scores were intimidating.
Yeah, he was very smart, intellectual, but also this weirdo kid.
And maybe a superhero. There's that scene. I'm sure we'll talk about it anyway. Yeah, one of my favorite movies of all time. I would actually put it in my top 5 movies of all time. And we'll get into whether or not it's a horror movie.
It's not. It literally says everywhere that it's not a horror movie.
My God.
It never lists that in the genre.
Well, it's a Halloween movie, and
Okay.
it's Halloween.
I will accept that.
Okay.
yes. not a
Andy,
horror.
your general thoughts before we dig into what this movie's about. For anyone who hasn't actually watched it, and if you haven't, please do. It's great.
I love this movie. It's still one of my favorites. Again, I saw it when I was an edgy. Can I help you?
Okay. Just, I looked down, and Ryan's hand was on Andy's leg, rubbing it in the most sensual way.
We're deciding to start uploading maybe videos on YouTube.
Maybe videos.
Yeah, maybe. So we're all sitting very close so that we can get into the camera once we start doing it.
I loved it. When I first saw it when I was an edgy teenager, and I am still scared by certain scenes of this movie, and I consider it kind of an unconventional horror movie. Don't say anything, Ryan.
It's not. It's not a horror movie.
Oh my God, is that what I sound like? Is anybody going to ask me what I think of the movie?
Hey,
No,
Ryan.
no, we're not. No.
So,
no.
Andy, let's go through some of the
Yeah.
plot. Yeah, what'd you think, Ryan?
I love the movie. I think it's an amazing movie. I love Jake Gyllenhaal. I just don't think it's a horror movie. That's all.
Okay, that's good.
I would definitely say it's more of like a sci-fi thriller movie, honestly. But like I said, it's really good.
So before we dig into what this movie, Donnie Darko, is about, a couple things, just not fun facts, Ryan, don't worry, I'm not going to steal your thunder. A couple of people involved in this movie. Obviously, first, Jake Gyllenhaal. He made one major movie before this, which was October Sky.
Never seen it.
Wasn't he the child in one of the what movies is it? The I don't know. You're the info guy. What was he in?
It was nothing notable. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, he made some movies where he was really young. October Sky was the first movie he was in, like, as a young adult, and he's actually on the cover of that movie. I don't know what it's about either. I haven't seen it. But Donnie Darko, I think most people consider to be the movie that kind of put Jake Gyllenhaal on the map. And then another person involved with this movie, obviously the director, Richard Kelly. I was actually talking to Andy about this on the way here, that it's kind of a shame that he hasn't really done anything that has received or, been good, really, aside from Southland Tales, which some people seem to love. Andy
He
pointed
did. He wrote for The Box. That was a good movie.
I haven't seen The Box, but that
I
was
actually
also
haven't
one-
seen it either, but I hear it's really good, and I really want to watch it.
That was one that I was also kind of excited for because it seemed to be going back to like a suspense kind of horror vibe. But
It's
yeah,
on your arm.
Haven't seen it.
I haven't seen your tattoo before. Is
Oh.
it a dinosaur?
It's a
Oh, it's a fucking bird. Jesus
it's a
Christ.
crow. Yeah.
Upside down from very far away, his feet and the branch looks like what's it called? The long neck dinosaurs.
Oh, a brontosaurus.
That you piece
Oh,
of
the
shit,
long
that's
neck.
not-
Long neck. I got you. Yeah. No, they do have long necks though. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, I never
Should
noticed it
really
before.
put the Jurassic Park theme in there for a second.
Okay.
So Jake Gyllenhaal's first movie was City Slickers.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
he plays a child in that. He is a child.
Let the games begin.
Anyway, there is a movie in here. Do you want to
Why
go?
did you do that
I don't
into
know.
the fucking
I don't
mic?
know.
Do you want
I
to do
just-
the? Want to talk about some of the?
Yeah, sure.
Some of the
sure, sure.
characters?
Okay. Well, actually, do you want to give just like the really quick, really quick kind of summary of it?
Focuses on a character named Donnie Darko. He's from a very typical suburban family. He's high school aged, and he is experiencing, I guess you could call them mental health issues. They don't really necessarily describe what his problem is, but we find out very early on that he's in therapy. Just say why you're laughing, because the audience needs to know.
Where Andy and I have a little tablet between us, and we're looking at like the plot points. And Amir did these ones, and there's just like one line that just says, "One scene I like Dad leave." It says, "One scene I like Dad leaf blower at Liz."
Okay, yeah. So he's dealing with mental health issues. He's going to therapy. At some point, something crazy happens at his house, and essentially, it just is about. He discovers after this incident in his house that the world is going to end through some demonic entity that talks to him, and it kind of is the journey throughout the movie towards this date that is revealed. And I guess we'll dig into kind of what happens along the way.
Yeah.
Does that work?
That works.
Fine. Okay. Yeah, so this movie came out in 2001. There's the original, and then there's also a director's cut that came out later. It's like, I think it's like 20 plus minutes extra
Yeah, it's
long.
about 20 minutes extra.
And they
yeah.
say to watch the original first because the director's cut gives away the whole plot, the whole theme of the film, like way sooner.
Yeah, I think maybe it was in response to concerns of people that maybe were confused about what the movie was about, and the complaint about the director's cut is it kind of holds your hand too much and doesn't leave enough to just your imagination to figure out.
So, Amir, you've seen both.
Yeah.
Which one do you prefer?
So it's weird because I actually watched the director's cut first, and then I read about people's sort of opinions on the director's cut. And most people seem to hate the director's cut for the reasons that we just mentioned. Another reason people hate the director's cut is because the very first song that you hear in the movie...
Yeah, it's changed.
Yeah, it's changed. It was Killing Moon in the original, and in the director's cut, it's Never Tear Us Apart by In Excess. I love both songs, and I thought the other one worked fine too, but I think in terms of the theme of the movie, Killing Moon works way better content-wise.
Yeah, I haven't seen the director's cut, so I've only seen the theatrical version, but it seems like from other people's their opinion is that the mystery of the movie is gone in the director's cut.
Yeah, and that's the weird part to me is the things that they added in to kind of help understand the movie in the director's cut. I don't feel like they helped at all. Like, I don't feel like they added anything for me to gain. You haven't seen the director's cut either, right, Ryan?
I haven't seen the movie in a little while.
Okay.
I'm the odd one out for this episode of not watching the movie.
It's okay. We'll hold your hand through this one.
Gee, thanks, Dad. So yeah, it came out in 2001. It's directed and written by Richard Kelly, which we mentioned also wrote The Box. Now, it says he was a writer for S. Darko, the sequel, but
Oh, no.
at other places I saw that he didn't have anything to do
I don't think
with
he
it.
had anything to do
I think
with
it
it.
might just say that because he created the characters.
Yeah, it could be like based off the characters, right?
Yeah, if you want to talk about movies that shouldn't exist, we could talk about that movie, but I don't think anyone's seen it.
Just off the top, I will say that S. Darko...
Did you see it?
No, but after watching Donnie Darko and then seeing it at my local video rental store, I was like, oh, fuck yeah, I want to see that, but I never did.
I was excited for it too. The one thing I will say to its benefit, so S stands for Samantha, that she's Donnie Darko's sister in the movie. The sequel actually has the character playing Samantha in the first movie as Samantha in the second
That's
movie.
something
I find
cool.
Yeah, a lot of sequels don't do that, so I
No.
thought that was cool.
Okay, so special effects were done quite a bit by Amalgamated Pixels. The main person from that is Derry Frost, who is the head of production. They also did The Crazies, Drag Me to Hell, Blade Trinity, oof, The Chronicles of Riddick, Jesus Christ, The Chronicles of Riddick, my personal favorite, Looney Tunes Back in Action,
Amazing.
Elf, Halloween Resurrection, and The
Oof.
Cell. So, like,
Oh, the Jennifer Lopez movie?
oh, so good.
That's an intro. We should definitely
It's-
do
that
at some
movie's
point.
amazing.
Yeah.
What's the bad guy's name in that? Like the actor's name.
Oh, I always get his name wrong.
Oh, this is going to bug me.
It's the guy that plays Kingpin in
yeah,
Daredevil.
he's like one of those guys who just plays a
Vincent
villain.
something something. If only we had some sort of device that could look it up.
I feel like that would be, this doesn't have to be necessarily on here, but I think that would be a perfect fit for our podcast because I think that's pretty obscure. I don't think people associate Jennifer Lopez with that movie
Yeah, it's
ever.
weird that people don't really know. Like, it's an amazing movie.
Yeah.
The visuals, everything.
Super dark.
So yeah, to continue on, we also have Robbie Knott, who is also
How do you pronounce his name?
D'Onofrio.
There you go.
Yeah, Vincent D'Onofrio. That's who we were talking about. Yeah. So, anyways, Robbie Knott. He's another special effects big main person for this. He did Stuart Little 2, Dante's Peak,
Terrifying.
The Nutty Professor, The Page Master, The Muppet Movie. So this is kind of like his only. I'm not gonna say horror movie, but like more thriller. I guess Dante's Peak kind of is too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So music was by Michael Andrews, who did the music for New Girl, which is pretty sweet because that shows fucking the tits. He did Neighbors 1 and 2, I think, Daddy's Home 1 and 2, and just like a ton of comedies. So again, really out of his wheelhouse for this one. Obviously, Jake Gyllenhaal, he's Donnie Darko. You may know him from Nightcrawler, Prisoners, End of Watch, Zodiac, my personal favorite, Bubble Boy.
He also played that child in City Slickers. I really like him in Zodiac, but I just really like that movie.
I recently watched his movie Enemy, which I highly recommend watching it. It is the weirdest thing I've ever watched.
Another
Good to
weird
know.
one that he's done is Source Code, which was I still don't know what happened in that movie.
Yeah, most of the stuff I've put down for like what these people have been in is just movies that I've seen. He also produced the film Relic, the horror film. I haven't
Really?
watched it, but yeah. Maggie Gyllenhaal, which is Jake's actual sister, plays his sister
which
in
is
the
the
movie.
best casting choice ever.
Elizabeth
Totally.
Darko. Everything I found online was what the hell's his name? Richard Kelly was like, no, we shouldn't use the actual sibling. We shouldn't. And then he saw a video of her drinking piss.
Wait,
In a movie or something?
Oh.
Drinking urine?
Oh, okay.
No, not just like... Here's my audition tape. No, in some movie, and he was like, I want her.
Or just like saw her on the street and you're like, what is she drinking?
She hasn't been in a whole lot of like more popular stuff, but obviously she's been in The Dark Knight, and she was a voice in Monster House. Holmes Osborne, who plays Eddie Darko, Donnie's hilarious dad.
I think he's great in this. I think this might be one of my favorite dad characters in any movie. Honestly, I don't know what it is about Holmes in this movie, but I just loved his performance.
He was in The Box.
Oh,
He was in House MD.
Oh, not the other house.
No.
Oh.
Sorry. And he's been in like a ton of sitcoms and like TV movies and stuff. A lot of these people are mostly in like sitcoms, small bits in like shows and stuff. Davy Chase, hope I'm saying that right. She plays Samantha Darko, which is Donnie's younger sister. She
S. Darko.
Yeah, she was in that. She was, I'm going to say this wrong again, Samara in The Ring, in the Hollywood version.
Wow.
Yeah, that blew my mind.
Wow.
She's been in very little, and then all of a sudden that, and she's the voice of Lilo from Lilo and Stitch. So like two huge things
Crazy.
in her like
Yeah.
small list of credits.
amazing.
I thought it was really interesting. Mary McDonnell, who plays Rose Darko, which is, oh my God. Which is Donnie's MILF wife mom.
Why would you
What'd you
write
say,
that,
wife?
Andy?
I almost did say wife because I read the dad thing. This is
okay.
all fucking Amir. Jesus Christ. This is why we don't let him write this stuff.
I think these make for the best episodes.
She's been in a ton of TV series too. She was in Scream 4 and Independence Day.
Oh, that's where I recognize her from mainly. Yeah, she plays the president's wife.
So
in
the
Independence
person who plays Frank, the rabbit dude, his name's James Duvall. He hasn't been in. He's been like in a lot of stuff, but a lot of like shorts and stuff that he does.
Speaking of Independence Day, he was also in Independence
he is,
Day.
yes. He's also in Gone in 60 Seconds. And
Oh, yeah.
he was in both SLC Punk videos, which if you haven't seen those, the first one is super good.
First one's great.
Second one is
I wonder. I don't know if you already had this in the fun fact. Does he actually play Frank throughout the movie? The guy that's in the bunny suit. Do you know?
that I don't know, but I believe so.
I'm
Okay.
pretty sure they just found an actual 8-foot,
Giant bunny.
8-foot bunny.
Okay.
Next we got Jenna Malone, which is, don't know why we're saying Donnie's lover. It's weird.
What's wrong with that?
Gretchen Ross. She was in Antebellum. She was in Nocturnal Animals with Jake. That movie is a tough watch. She's in The Neon Demon, The Ruins, which is everybody says it's a really good movie, but I've also read the book, and unfortunately, I'm one of those people who's like, the book's better. She also is in Howl's Moving Castle in the English dub, which is also
that's
really cool. Here we go, another sweet Amir tidbit. A young douchebag version of Seth Rogen.
I mean, that's the best way to describe him in this movie. He plays such a fucking
he's so
douchebag.
awful. You want him to die.
I feel like most people know what he's from, so I didn't really write anything down. The most I wrote down was he's an executive producer for Preacher, which is pretty cool. It's a great show. And for the newer show Invincible, which is also a really good animated adult show. And then I wrote this part down. For some reason, Amir didn't put Drew Barrymore,
Oh my god.
Darko's English
my
teacher.
God.
And fun fact, she's the main reason why this film was made, because she helped produce it, and it came from her company, Flower Films. Kind of a big thing there.
Well, it's true too, because this is my favorite role of Drew Barrymore, so I don't know how I missed that one.
That's your favorite role of hers?
Yeah.
Oh, she's in it for very little.
I know.
What's
but,
your favorite Drew Barrymore role?
I love her in Whip It.
for me, it's this and Wedding Singer. She's amazing.
Oh,
in
and
The
that
Wedding
too,
Singer,
yeah.
obviously. What about you, Ryan?
I'm trying to think of something
Firestarter?
funny to say. I never saw Firestarter.
Oh.
Have you heard of a little movie called E.T.?
Yeah. I don't think I've actually seen E.T. either.
Wow.
It seemed boring to me.
No, it's great. And it's scary. It's a
I-
horror movie.
Yeah, ask Sarah how she feels about that movie.
Not good.
No, she's very scared of him.
Mhm.
I don't know what I would say. I really like her in all the Adam Sandler movies, honestly. She's really funny.
Their chemistry's great.
Yeah.
Too, yeah. One person you skipped over is Patrick fucking Swayze, who plays Jim Cunningham, who is like a motivational speaker in this movie, and he's awesome in this movie.
I mean, he's more than a motivational speaker.
Yeah, but
We'll get
into
in.
that.
Yeah, he's so good in this role. It's like, yeah, he's too good.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was just stoked to be in it, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, you might have this in your fun facts for later, but didn't Christopher Nolan have some pull in this movie getting a theatrical release? I remember reading
Yes,
that. Yeah.
nobody wanted it, but he helped out with it quite a bit.
And that was like before he was like a huge, household name. So that's cool.
And Patrick Swayze, he was so into it that like the clothes he's wearing in the film, those are all his clothes. Wow. He used his own ranch house in it as well.
Wow.
One fun thing about the film is Donnie Darko's house is apparently 1 minute away from oh my god, I'm blanking so hard here. Ferris Bueller's house.
Bueller.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So
Yeah.
are they neighbors? Is this an expanded universe?
Because that
confirmed.
that scene early on where there's a montage when Donnie's biking home, I was like, this neighborhood looks so familiar. That's why.
Yeah,
Wow.
filmed in the same area.
Amazing. All right. So
One scene I like that leaf blower at least. You didn't even spell scene right.
that was just a note for myself. Okay. Just leave me alone.
I'll break up the fight between you guys, okay?
That's why you're in the middle.
Yeah.
Just don't touch my leg.
So am I running down this, or are you running down this?
I think Ryan would prefer you do it.
Okay. So the movie begins with Donnie Darko. He's sitting on a winding road. He's just like out in the middle of nowhere. I don't know why there's no traffic anywhere, but he doesn't know where he is. But he has his bike and ends up riding back home.
Before he does, he's kind of like laughing for some reason.
He's laughing throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, it's a little creepy.
Yeah, he does a few acting like tricks to make himself look creepy and like crazy.
Oh.
That, and then he tries not to blink as much as possible to make him seem unhinged.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then the music of Killing Moon plays while he's riding back home. One scene I like, Dad.
So there's a montage of different...
Sorry.
The reason I wrote this, there's a montage of different things that it shows while he's biking home.
I know exactly what you're talking about. The dad is like being playful with the daughter leaving or she's going out, and he grabs the leaf blower and starts blowing at her, and
it just seems so natural and real, and I think the chemistry, the casting, I think is great.
you think they're an actual family,
Yeah,
because
for
of the
sure.
interactions they have.
Can we put that on a t-shirt?
Which
What?
one?
I like Dad leaf blower.
I feel like it could sell well in like Japan.
I like Dad Leaf Blower, just that.
Yeah. I also noticed this part too, but when he gets home, Donnie's mom is reading a copy of It, the Stephen King book, in the yard. I thought that was kind of funny. Oh, and yeah, on the fridge, it says, "Where is Donnie?" But why would they write that on the fridge and not?
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
if it's
be
not
looking
there,
for him.
exactly. If he's not there, yeah, that's a great point. Where's Donnie?
This is one of Amir's favorite scenes in the movie. The dinner scene, yeah, where they're all talking to each other. And what's the daughter's name? Liz?
Elizabeth,
Yeah, Elizabeth is
Well, there's 2 daughters.
Elizabeth
Well,
and Samantha. Yeah.
the one that matters. Sorry, Samantha.
I am starting to doubt your commitment to Sparkle Motion.
Yeah.
Andy.
The Elizabeth is talking politics to her dad, and it's what year does this movie take place?
This is a keep. Yeah, we should probably mention.
I already did 2001, so like 2000-ish.
No,
No,
in terms of the setting
movie.
of the
in terms
movie.
of-
I think it's the 80s,
80s?
maybe
Yeah.
early 90s.
No,
So-
it's like
late
late
80s?
80s, I believe. Yeah.
okay.
Well,
So
it's definitely when Bush is running against Dukakis.
Bush Senior. Obviously.
Bush Senior, yeah. And they're having an argument, the dad and Elizabeth, because I'm gonna say the dad is a harsh Republican. Ryan,
Yeah.
how does one suck a fuck?
Well, to do that, we really got to go back to the Romans.
It is one of the best scenes in the whole movie.
I remember the first time I saw this interaction, I was laughing so hard. Essentially, Donnie and Elizabeth start arguing over something, and Elizabeth squeals to the parents that Donnie has stopped taking his pills. And Donnie goes, "Elizabeth, you're such a fuck ass." Like, even that, like, fuck ass? Who says that?
Yeah. And then she says, what does she say? You can go suck a fuck?
Yeah, well, you can go suck a fuck. And then Donnie's like, "Tell me, Elizabeth, how does one suck a fuck?" So, yeah, Ryan, how does one suck a fuck?
Again,
I don't know.
got to go back to the Romans.
And then the scene ends with Samantha, the younger sister, being like, "What's a fuck ass?"
What's a fuck ass?
Spot on impression.
Yeah, really good. Yeah, the mom is asking him where he keeps going, and I think their relationship is very strained.
It's true. And we don't see Donnie. So at some point in the movie, Donnie starts sleepwalking and stuff. But I
Well,
guess,
he already did at the beginning.
Right. We don't see him sleepwalking, but we see the result of him sleepwalking. Where
Sleep biking?
That's, yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's super dangerous.
It is. And yeah, so she's concerned about, where he goes. I don't know if she thinks that he's up to no good. She does bring up the fact that he...
Was he starting to make trouble in my neighborhood?
His mom did get scared. But she kind of makes it sound like he's being like a bad boy. And he says something like, we stopped TPing places in the 6th grade, Mom. So he's past that point of being like a juvenile delinquent.
I don't like the way you said bad boy. Oh, Donnie, you're such a bad
When
boy.
he ends up calling her a bitch when she leaves the room, which kind of reminds me of when I was a kid and I never swore at my parents ever.
I was
and
just gonna ask, have you guys called your mom a bitch before?
Oh yeah.
Ever?
Oh,
I did one time.
well,
I love you, Mom.
yeah, but I did, and then I felt so bad right after because, I never swore at my parents before, and yeah.
Say you're Donnie's mom. You leave your son's bedroom and you hear your son call you a bitch, Ryan.
He's getting the slipper.
The slipper?
Yeah, you pop the slipper off and you just start fucking beating his ass.
I'm surprised you're surprised by that, Andy. I've actually seen the slipper in action before, so.
Okay, you know what I would do? I would drop a plane engine on his room.
Okay, spoilers, foreshadowing. We'll get
Stupid,
to
I
that.
hate it.
I would just go back in and be like, "What the fuck did you just say?" This is my house. You don't talk to me like that. And then I'd tell him to go sleepwalk.
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't really do anything.
I think it depends on how old is she in the movie? Or in the movie,
mom?
roughly?
I would say, late 40s, early 50s probably. They don't ever say, obviously.
Do you think
but
she's hitting menopause or anything?
She seems, I don't know.
I feel like I'd be very emotional. Be like, my son just called me a bitch.
Yeah, I'd be pretty upset.
But she's always, I think throughout the movie, she's pretty level-headed. And
She's one of the smarter characters in this
True.
Movie.
So again, we heard at the dinner scene that Donnie has stopped taking his pills. After this interaction with his mom, he goes to the washroom and begrudgingly does end up taking his pills anyway.
And then there's the earthquake, but it's not really an earthquake. It's the jet engine falling on the house
Yeah.
into Donnie's room. Oh, but doesn't he? He leaves before that.
Yeah, so if you actually read the plot points.
We can actually see here, too. It happens on 1988.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Oh, very good. Nice, guys.
But yes, it's with the part where Donnie meets Frank for the first time.
Yeah, we hear his voice first. So just to set the scene, his dad's downstairs watching TV. We see a view of it. And then, we hear Frank's very creepy voice start talking to Donnie when he's in his bed. Donnie very slowly starts to make his way out of the house. And Frank says stuff like, "I've been watching you." Not like that at all.
I was going to say, what does Frank sound like?
I've been watching you.
He's probably like, "Yeah, Doc, I've been watching you, yeah."
There's some effects as well. There's like a weird sort of chorus reverb effect that they've put on Frank's voice.
Because he's a rabbit. You get it?
No.
I hate both of you.
Wake up.
The next scene we basically see is Donnie wakes up on a golf course. He's woken up by Jim Cunningham and one of his buddies. And he also discovers that for whatever reason. So throughout this experience, Frank actually says to him I think I wrote down the exact time, in 28 days, 6 hours, 42 minutes, and 12 seconds. Sickens.
Which actually has to do with, I think it's the solstice, I believe. Actually, it has a significance.
I also want to say that while those two characters were talking to Donnie on the thing, one of them is a doctor, because Donnie says, like, "Oh, sorry, doctor, I'll never do this again." And then, like, under his breath, talking to Jim Cunningham, he's like, "I fucking hate kids."
Yeah, I never heard that until this recent viewing.
Yeah.
But so Donnie, after hearing that, I guess at some point throughout this sleepwalking experience, he actually writes down that countdown on his arm.
So many people have that tattooed on their arm.
Really?
Yeah.
If you had to get a movie date tattooed on you, what movie date would you get?
Oh, that's a good question.
Is
Honestly, it
there a
might be this
helicopter
one.
in here?
When did the first Fast and the Furious come out?
God, that was probably like, 2000, early 2000s?
That's a good fucking answer right there.
We also see Elizabeth come home after Donnie leaves, and she looks really happy, like she just had a good date, and she kind of
I bet she did.
she kind of slumps against the door.
Yeah, she's tired.
She's tired.
And then
From all that plowing.
Suddenly the house starts shaking. We see the chandelier shaking like crazy.
And she's like, "Here comes round two."
One thing the golfers say as well, that's just so fucking stupid.
I love how you are just like trying to be so composed.
I know. I keep watching him when I'm saying all this stuff, and he's like, "Fuck this guy."
You're
I fucking
fucking
hate
ruining
this
my
podcast."
favorite movie.
I'm not thinking that at all, honestly. I'm sorry my face might say that. I'm not. You guys can be goofy all you want.
Okay.
But one thing the golfers say is, "I guess he was sleep golfing."
Oh, yeah. He should have murdered them.
Yeah, I would have. So Donnie comes home. He comes home to discover what one of you guys spoiled before, that a fucking jet engine, like from a Boeing passenger plane, crashed right through his bedroom, specifically his bedroom, not the rest of the house, his bedroom. So if he was in his bed, he likely would have died.
They don't know at this point, but I'm just gonna skip ahead a little bit. They don't know where the jet engine has come from.
Yeah, long story short with the scene, they get put into a hotel. There's some shenanigans at the hotel itself, like Donnie saying he's going to fart on his sister's head while she sleeps. But I don't think that's...
I thought you meant like shenanigans for like the plot or something, not just like sibling rivalry.
No.
So at this point, we meet Donnie's friends, who are fucking losers.
They're just so dumb compared
Oh,
to Donnie.
yeah. No, they seem like not really his type of friends, I guess. But it's, he doesn't have many friends. He just kind of clings to whoever is around.
We also get introduced to Charita, who is kind of a weird, mysterious character in this movie. We never really fully ever hear from her or understand her, but...
She's bullied her, like, so much, and there's so much racism thrown at her.
Yeah, even in this scene, the friends are like, hey, Charita, go back to China, bitch. Like, basically for no reason. And then she's like, shut up! And then Donnie's the only one that tends to defend her when this happens.
At this point, we see...
it's another montage going back to school.
Montage, and then we see Seth Rogen snorting coke with his buddy.
Do we actually see him snorting coke?
So him and his bully friend are at a locker,
Right.
And the friend pulls out some coke and snorts it. Yeah.
So this was his first feature film. You know what his first line is ever in a featured film?
What?
I like boobs.
Oh yeah, when Gretchen shows up.
I wonder if this is after he auditioned for The Office. Probably before, though.
I think it's before. This is around the time he was in Freaks, wasn't
yeah,
it?
Yeah,
would've
Freaks
been-
and Geeks. Yeah. More sick '80s tunes are heard.
Yeah, Head Over Heels by is that Tears for Fears?
We meet the teacher, Drew Barrymore, in Amir's favorite role for her.
So stupid.
Anyway, she's teaching her class, and then what are we talking about? Is it Graham Greene? They're reading The Destructors.
Yeah, which is a book that, because of this movie, that I've wanted to read, because one of the concepts that they talk about in this book is destruction is a form of creation,
Right.
which is a concept that I've always really enjoyed. Gretchen walks in, and the teacher does something here that's very strange. Gretchen acts like she's lost, but it turns out she's not. And then she's like, "Where should I sit?" And then Drew Barrymore's like, "Pick the seat next to the boy you think is cutest."
Which
If it was like
today she'd get fired.
yeah, it'd be like, I'm going to the principal. Fuck you, teacher.
yeah, like
Put me on blast.
could have been like, I'm fucking gay. Like, go away. I'm not saying that.
Obviously, she decides to sit next to Donnie, and then the person that's already sitting next to Donnie has to move, which is also like a dick move for her.
That's not what your notes say. It says picks a seat next to Jakey. Love
Okay.
blooms.
Love blooms.
Fucking.
You kind of see a spark between them right away, and Donnie kind of has a little
Did anyone
smirk on
have
his
a
face.
crush on Jenna Malone during this time? It awakened something in me.
I can't. Okay.
Sorry.
I can't remember when I watched it. The few times I watched it, but I don't think so.
Yeah, that's okay.
I was just like, I was a typical teenager
Maybe-
jerking it to anything I saw.
Maybe one day you'll like girls. Maybe one day you won't.
One day.
It's okay.
I'm sorry, Sarah.
Next scene we see is Donnie driving with his dad. They're talking about some random shit, and then his dad is distracted with the driving, with talking to Donnie, and then Donnie's like, "Dad!" And they almost hit another character we're introduced to, who is Grandma Death. Her real name is Roberta Sparrow. We're not really told too much about her, just that she's some creepy lady, and then she whispers something into Donnie's ear, which we don't really hear. But actually, if you pay attention to her lips, you can hear what she's saying.
What do you think she said to Donnie?
Why? No.
Before you guys say that, this was her last role too. The actor who played,
You could tell.
I believe. Okay, I don't know for sure, but I think she passed away afterwards.
Yeah. Anyway, what do you think she said? Ryan.
Hey, Donnie. How you been? Been pretty good. That's cool. Anyways, you want to fucking time travel, dude? I don't fucking know.
You're usually on spot with these things. You know, you did so well with Michael Myers.
That was so stupid.
Amir, what do you think she said?
Tell your dad to watch where he's fucking going.
That's pretty good. Okay, you know what she actually did say?
What?
One scene I liked leaf blower at Liz.
It's not what she says.
She's just like, Donnie, come here. One thing I like, Dad, leaf blower at Liz.
Grandma Death is still alive. She didn't get hit by the dad. What did she actually say to him?
So
Is
again,
it's
we will
said
find
later.
out. Do we want to reveal it now?
Do we find out later in the movie?
We
Yes.
do. He
in
tells,
the theatrical or director
well, I
cut?
saw it in the theatrical.
Okay, then yeah, we'll leave it because
Okay.
it's actually in the movie. So she's Grandma Death. What would Grandpa be?
Grandpa Boner.
Grandpa.
Grandpa.
I don't know, Grandpa Old Balls or something. Oh yeah, but Boner's okay.
Donnie has his first therapy session. Talks about his friend Frank.
Do we know who the therapist is? No.
Grandpa Old Balls.
She's also one of these. She's also one of these sort of sitcom actors who hasn't really been in much in terms of bigger roles. But as the therapist in this movie, she does a good job. And yeah, they're just sort of talking about his recent experiences with Frank, and he kind of introduces the fact that there's this giant bunny rabbit that he's been talking to.
Is this before the point where she hypnotizes him?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she hypnotizes him in the next session.
Oh, I see. So they're back at school, and they, I guess, like, what class was this even?
I know, right? So this is the point in the movie where the weird fucking creepy teacher is making them watch these love-fear videos.
So,
with
yeah, she's
Patrick
like-
Swayze, or Jim Cunningham is the one
Right.
that's sort of guiding these videos.
She's the gym teacher, so this is like gym class.
But they're not in a gym. They're
No.
just in like an activity room or
It almost
something.
seems like, did you ever guys like take like personal planning in high school?
Oh, yeah.
It seemed like kind of like that, but like, I guess more self-righteous.
So these videos are about controlling fear. And I don't know, again, like even understand the point of showing these videos to your kid. They've got almost these like religious undertones to them. And basically these videos boil all of life's problems down into two extremes, love and fear. I don't think this is a point where they have the love and fear activity yet. That's later.
I also wanted to say, like, I'm gonna say it's like around the time of like the Satanic Panic. So I guess a lot of religion was trying to seep its way back into public schools, but this is a private school, so they could just do whatever they wanted.
You can tell that Donnie is annoyed at this point. I believe that Frank says something as well while they're watching these videos. And then we're back at home, and Donnie's having a dream. And one of the visuals in the dream is super cool. We actually see the school hallways with the lockers and stuff completely flooded with no ceiling or anything, just clouds and blue sky. And then we see a flash of Donnie with an axe hammering the axe through like a water main at the school.
Did you just say hammering the axe? Also, I really wish you would just read out what you've written down here, because it's just Donnie asleep at home. Dreams of school flooded. We see freely Frank again. It's like a bad translation.
He also takes like the axe to the bronze statue that's out front, and I'm like, how did he do that? Because it's solid metal.
We also don't see that,
No.
but obviously it's implied. So now the school is actually investigating, and the situation that Andy just mentioned with the school mascot having an axe through its head, there's text on the ground in front of it that says, "They made me do it."
Do we have any ideas of who made the person do it?
I would just assume it's because of it's just Donnie.
A lot of this stuff is just up in the air for interpretation, right?
Yeah, I would say so. Like even the axe.
I feel like the whole movie is.
Yeah, because at the end, once they finished filming, both Jake and Seth were like, I don't know what the fuck we just done.
right?
Even Richard Kelly was like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird how cohesive it is, considering that there's one scene as well after this vandalism where there's like an investigation in school, and they're making every kid come up to the board and write "They made me do it" on the board just to see if their writing matches what they saw. The next scene we see Donnie walking home, and he catches Seth and his bully partner.
Do we know his name? His
Yeah, you should
character's
say his
name?
No. And yeah, they're bullying Gretchen, and this is what the line that Ryan referred to earlier. He basically just says to her, "I like your boobs," and it's like, what the fuck? Even the bullies that I went to school with weren't that stupid.
No, they're a bit more creative. So Donnie ends up walking her home. And what do they talk about at that point?
They're talking about the fact that they're talking about their past. Gretchen talks about the fact that she's come to this town because they're kind of running away from the dad, who's a fucking crazy psychopath who stabbed her mom, I believe.
5 times.
Yeah. And Donnie's talking about the fact that he has emotional problems in a very weird way. Like he's almost proud of the fact that he's got emotional problems. And then they're talking about a project that she's working on and what the world's greatest discovery is. And Donnie's like, it's soap. Or she says it's soap, but he says antiseptic.
So soap.
Yeah.
So, Amir,
What do you guys think the world's greatest invention is?
I wanted to say first, do you want to go with me?
Yeah.
That's what we say around here.
I would love to go with you.
Ryan?
I don't know what we're talking about. I was very busy looking up Seth Rogen's character's name.
Oh, I see. No.
It's Ricky, by the way.
Oh.
Weird.
Yeah, Donnie says to Gretchen, do you want to go with me? Like, do you want to go out? And that's just how he says it there.
Yeah, that's fine.
And she
Yeah.
says yes.
She says yes.
She kind of says yes.
Donnie goes back to therapy, and then his doctor wants to put him through hypnosis. Do any of you guys believe in hypnosis?
Yeah.
You do.
Because, like, there's...
Like the
I've seen it.
hypnosis that you see on TV or movies.
I know that they... Okay, so this is really weird. We watched Candyman, the original, recently, and apparently Virginia Madsen said for certain scenes they had hypnotized her.
Really?
And they had triggers throughout the movie that would trigger her during certain scenes to act certain ways. And at some point during the filming, she said she wanted that to stop.
That's
And
so weird.
It's really weird. So I do believe that hypnosis exists in various forms. I actually was a part of a hypnosis show at my high school with a guy named Mesmer. And essentially he brought people up to the stage. And what I had learned from that experience is that some people just inherently decide to play along for entertainment value, which is what I was doing. I wasn't actually hypnotized. I was just doing it. So I think in like clinical settings, like in where Donnie is, where there are trained professionals doing it, I think it's probably a real thing. But the way I think a lot of movies sensationalize hypnosis, I don't think is real.
But during this scene, he ends up like talking about all the girls he likes.
Yeah, I think because he starts mentioning the fact that he has a girlfriend now, and then he just sort of wanders off in his hypnosis on a tangent about girls and like wanting to screw them, and like starts to unbutton his pants and is just about to start jerking it, and then she claps her hands and wakes him up.
Ryan, can you read that part right there for me? Just this line here.
More therapy, hypnosis, masturbation. I like this is just like a sidebar here. We use Google Docs to do all our notes and stuff, and more than one person can go into the notes at a time, but you can also see what the other person's doing. And at first I thought Amir was trying to like take out all the dumb shit he put and it was like, gotta fix my mistakes.
No, there's one. I actually did delete a line, but it was because we already talked about it. Next scene, randomly, it just cuts to the school where Donnie's in the washroom washing his hands, and Ricky's friend grabs Donnie from behind and threatens to choke him because he feels like Donnie ratted him out as the person who was the one behind the flooding of the school and the defacing of the mascot. Donnie escapes the situation with just like a cut on his neck with a little bit of blood coming out.
Yeah, well, he grabs a knife, like he brandishes a knife.
The next scene is just so weird and random. Donnie's hanging out with his friends. They're like shooting bottles in like a weird part of the woods. And they start talking about Smurfs. And they get into this weird philosophical conversation about the Smurfs. And Donnie goes on a tangent about how what his friends are talking about in regards to the Smurfs makes no sense.
First of all, Papa Smurf didn't create Smurfette. Gargamel did. She was sent in as Gargamel's evil spy with the intention of destroying the Smurf village. But the overwhelming goodness of the Smurf way of life transformed her.
Because none of the Smurfs have sexual organs.
But they make it super sexual.
Richard Kelly, the creator,
Oh,
he actually got in touch with the people who made Smurfs to make sure it was okay that he
Oh,
could
really?
talk about it in the film. Yeah.
That's awesome. Donnie ends his weird tangent about the Smurfs by saying, "What's the point of living?"
If you don't have a dick.
It's pretty one-sided.
I mean, there's other reasons.
Yeah, there's other reasons.
Is
You
there,
know,
though?
good host, powdered iced tea.
Video games.
That's sliced bread. And then the PTA meeting about vandalism.
Yeah, so the crazy teacher we talked about earlier,
Fear is in the negative energy spectrum, and love is in the positive energy spectrum.
she's pissed off because of the book that we mentioned earlier, The Destructors, because apparently in this book, the characters in the book flood the school, and she thinks that the book they read caused this destruction at the school to happen.
She plays a great villain. And like also this is around the time where there was a lot of book burning type situations in public schools or private schools where they would just take out any literature that would just like make the like kids think about certain things, whether it's like sexuality or destruction or any type of violence.
While this meeting is going on, Donnie's at home again, now he's talking to Frank in the mirror. And when Donnie sees his reflection, he's actually looking at Frank in the crazy, creepy bunny suit. After this scene, we're transported back into school. Is another love, fear spectrum movie. And it's now an exercise they're doing. So essentially the dumb teacher is making them put a little card based on a scenario on the love-fear spectrum.
Excuse me? No, duh is a product of fear.
And Donnie's not having it, and he basically cusses her out. And then we transport into the principal's office where the principal is talking to Donnie's parents. And he wants to repeat, I think his dad wants the principal to repeat what Donnie said to the teacher. And I'll let one of you guys read what Donnie actually says to the teacher.
I'll tell you what he said. He asked me to forcibly insert the lifeline exercise card into my anus.
And his dad laughs about it, which is another reason why I love the dad.
Yeah, his dad has a good sense of humor throughout the whole movie.
Who doesn't? Yeah, I'll take your silence as agreement.
Thanks.
Donnie's now getting fascinated about time travel because he's having all these weird thoughts, and he realizes, I guess, that he probably was the one who flooded the school. And he's talking to the other teacher, Drew Barrymore's partner in the movie, about time travel. And that teacher gives Donnie a book that's actually written by Grandma Death, or, again, Roberta Sparrow. And he freaks out because, again, everyone in the town thinks Roberta Sparrow is just some crazy lady. But it turns out she was a teacher at that school and has written a book about time travel called The Philosophy of Time Travel.
And a difference between the theatrical and the directors is that part of that book is actually included with the director's cut.
Right.
Oh, so yeah, I think those weird overlays they have in the director's cut that are literally pages from the book that the audience gets to see. Now they're back at therapy, and this is actually where we learn what Grandma Death whispered into Donnie's ear, and what she said was that's not what she said. It's a typo. I wrote every little creature. That's not what she said. It's every living creature on Earth dies alone. For some reason, she whispered that to Donnie.
Every little wooden creature, furry, tiny.
Every little thing is gonna be all right.
This is another section of the movie that kind of influenced me and taught me a bit more about myself, because Donnie's now starting to question just life and spirituality and God, and the therapist brings up agnosticism. And this is the first sort of introduction I even had to that word, and ever since this movie, that's sort of how I've identified. I don't know if you guys would share that.
Agnosticism is the I don't know kind of.
Basically, the belief that there is something out there.
You just don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably where I would be.
I don't know what you're talking about. I am a hardcore
Scientologist.
I don't think you should be on the podcast anymore.
Oh, no.
Did you know Patrick Swayze was a Scientologist?
Up until his death?
I don't know that.
A lot of people leave. A lot of people join and then leave.
Yeah, he left.
Join and then leave, and then, have to do a tell-all about how terrible it was.
Yeah, I'm guessing the people that leave are the people that are maybe decent people in real life, and they're like, what the fuck is going on in this goddamn cult? Although I wouldn't know. I've never taken their, personality test, so it could be great. Scientologists, if you're out there, send us an email.
Do you know any Scientologists?
No.
I don't think it's very popular with people who have no money.
Yeah, that's true.
Donnie hang with family. Sees the chest worms come out guiding everyone's actions.
It's everyone actions.
Everyone.
Make sure you get that right. Donnie hang with family. He see chest worms come out guide everyone actions.
You did it in point form. I didn't think you actually read everything that you write. Jesus, amateurs.
Anyway, there's
So yeah, he sees the tendrils coming out of people, and they're following it. I remember that pretty fucking well. So Richard Kelly, to put this in the film, he was super high watching football, and John Madden, that's his name, right? Yeah.
I'm kind of glad I retired. With that, we'll be back.
When he does the diagrams for all this stuff, that's where he got it from. He's like, wow, what if instead of just that, what if it was some higher being doing that to us?
Okay, hang on though. Are they actually watching football at this time too?
Yes.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Interesting. But yeah, they seem to be just, I don't even know how you would describe them. Like, what are they?
They kind of look like some of the special effects from the movie The Abyss.
Like
If you guys-
watery,
but like they're like translucent.
I would almost call them like maybe lifelines.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, they're basically things that are predicting what the person is heading towards or doing. So one shoots out of Donnie's chest, and it guides him up the stairs to his parents' bedroom.
Yeah,
and
in
then
the closet.
Yeah, and then finds a gun in the closet.
So let's talk about if you had one of those lifeline things. Where do you think it would take you, Andrew?
Walmart.
God, if that happened to me, I would want to not go where it's going, because I was like, no, I'm not going to fucking let something guide my actions.
I would just be thinking that I would like be having a hallucination, and I would
freak out.
Hopefully, it would take me right to a doctor.
Okay.
Ryan,
You know where mine would take me?
to the fridge and back.
Straight to that good host powdered iced tea.
I'm going to insert like a clip of a
We
commercial.
need to get a sponsorship from them.
That would be fucking amazing. You don't even know.
So now the parents are at therapy, not with Donnie. They're just talking about how progress is going. And while this is happening, Donnie is again standing in the mirror, this time with a knife. And anytime he sees Frank in the reflection, he starts stabbing his right eye, and we get these weird sounds. And this scene also is very creepy because he's always standing in the washroom, staring in the mirror with the lights off.
Sounds like my Saturday night.
How did you explain a podcast?
How would I explain it?
How did you explain it?
I was like, it's like a radio show, but on the internet,
Yeah.
and it's like your own radio show.
I like to say it's just you and a bunch of friends talking, but you don't get to talk to them.
Oh, you have other friends?
I have one or two.
Yeah, so Donnie's parents are talking to the therapist, and the therapist reveals that they're going to increase his medication, and that would be the best course of action for Donnie.
His diagnosis is because he's seeing things, right?
Yeah.
So his diagnosis is a paranoid schizophrenic. That's basically what his therapist said.
The next scene, Jim Cunningham, the guy in these Love Fear movies, is actually doing this live session at Donnie's school.
Does that all gusto you can muster? I said good morning. Good morning.
So he's there, and he's brought a couple of actors that are planted in the audience to talk about their problems and how he suggests they fix it. And at some point, Donnie comes up to the mic and basically rips him a new one, Jim Cunningham, and calls him the Antichrist.
If you want your sister to lose weight, tell her to get off the couch, stop eating Twinkies, and maybe go out for field hockey.
If Patrick Swayze...
Squaresy. Oh, I wish Patrick Swayze and M. Night Salamander wish they could get together.
He's better in Roadhouse.
I think he's better in Dirty Dancing. Really? Yeah. I think Roadhouse is like definitely more like a man's movie.
Yeah.
Ryan's a man's movie.
I also loved him in Ghost.
I don't think I've seen a Patrick Swayze movie.
You ever seen Ghost?
No.
Go talk like this from now on.
Donnie has another chat with the dude teacher, I should have wrote his name down, about time travel, and then he starts asking him about God
Is it played
and
by
religion.
Noah Wiley?
Noah Wiley, yeah, that's the actor name.
I don't know the character's name.
And he starts talking to the teacher about religion, and at this point, the teacher's like, no, we have to stop talking about this. And Donnie's like, why? He's like, because I could get fired. And I never really understood this part. Like, why would he get fired for because they're not allowed to talk about religion with
I think
students?
maybe because, they're in a more of a religious, like, they're not in a private school. Or they are in a private school. They're not in a public school.
When Donnie's walking home, he finds a wallet on the sidewalk, and what do you know? It happens to be right in front of Jim Cunningham's house, and it's Jim Cunningham's wallet. And then we hear Frank's voice in the background again saying, now you know where he lives. Not like that.
It's more like
Why do you sound like the Joker?
I don't know.
Now you know where he lives.
My father.
I was hoping it would sound more like, you know where he lives.
I don't know what the fuck that is.
It's the Joker.
I wasn't there in time. Next scene, probably one of the creepier scenes in this non-horror movie, where Donnie and Gretchen are watching a movie in theaters. And
That's
it's
not what it says. Donnie, Gretchen, go see Evil Dead.
I do want to say that, yeah, they go see Evil Dead, and she immediately falls asleep. And why? Why would you fall asleep during the whole movie of Evil Dead?
Sorry.
Hey.
So he originally wanted Chud playing,
Oh, yeah?
but he couldn't figure out who owned the rights to it.
Oh, my God.
So good guy Sam Raimi came out of nowhere and was like, "Yeah, you can use my movie for free."
That's awesome. Thank you, Sam Raimi.
Thank you,
And
Sam.
Him and his kid. I don't know why I said child. Makes it sound like he owns it. Him and I think it's his
Him
son.
and his chud.
Him and his son, I believe, they actually drove by the theater while they were filming the scene too.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Flipping the birds.
The ambience here is really great because we see some of the screen, but we just hear the scene from the movie Evil Dead where the seat outside of the cabin is banging against the cabin, and it's super creepy. That thud, repeated thud, and we talked about this a little earlier. Then this weird creepy music starts playing, and we notice that Frank is actually sitting next to Donnie.
It's very scary.
Donnie and Frank are kind of talking, and Donnie goes, one of my favorite lines in the movie, "Why are you wearing that stupid bunny suit?" And Frank goes, "Why are you wearing that stupid man suit?" And that made me rethink my existence for a few years.
Doesn't Donnie, he says to Frank, like, can you take that off or something? Does he reveal his face at this point?
He does, yeah. So Donnie says that. He says he just like, take it off. And he does take the mask off, and then we see the character, or the actor, sorry, who's been playing him with his eye bloody. And it almost makes it seem like the fact that Donnie was stabbing the mirror, that's what caused his eye to start bleeding. We found out later that that's not exactly why at all.
Doesn't Frank at this point say, "Have you ever seen a portal?"
Yeah, and I've bugged Andy about that quote a lot. I love that quote. He says, "Have you ever seen a portal?" He says it like that.
And then he bends over.
Oh, no! Oh! I can see everything!
It's like, look, I can make a wink.
Oh, no!
I see you over there. What you doing? Fucking Reaver.
But when the portal is displayed on the screen, it kind of sucks this. Oh my god!
Oh yeah, it's sucking.
Holy shit! No, the portal, not his asshole, shows up in the middle of the screen, and it kind of sucks the screen up, and it reveals Jim Cunningham's house on the screen. And at this point, Donnie actually leaves the theater, and he's actually leaving to light Jim Cunningham's house on fire. While this is happening, Sparkle Motion, which is Samantha, Donnie's sister.
Well, I have to stop you for 1 second because Gretchen is still in the theater, asleep.
Yeah, it seems like she's asleep for basically the entire movie.
Yeah. Anyway, continue.
So while Donnie is leaving to go to Jim Cunningham's house to burn it down, again, we see Sparkle Motion performing, which is Donnie's sister's dance troupe to Notorious. I think it's by Duran Duran. But another great scene where everyone's super enamored by Sparkle Motion, including Jim Cunningham and the crazy teacher, because she's like one of the biggest cheerleaders for Sparkle Motion.
She's a very busy teacher, it seems.
Meanwhile, Donnie's spilling gasoline all over the house, sets it on fire, leaves, and goes back to Gretchen, where she just like wakes up right as he arrives back, and they kiss, and that's the end of that scene.
It's pretty hot.
If you guys had to burn down a house, how would you do it? I've actually thought about this a lot.
Yeah.
Have you really?
I have. Because you can't just like take a lighter and
No.
you need gasoline.
Yeah, you do.
I'd probably just do it the old-fashioned way, just dousing areas with gasoline, then throw a match or something.
I've thought about what I would do in situations where I didn't have gasoline. I was like, I wonder if I just like create a pile of something in that corner of the house and light it on fire, if it would eventually, reach the house and burn it down.
How much are flamethrowers?
I think the Tesla flamethrower, the one that Elon Musk made, I don't know if it's actually Tesla branded. I think that one was pretty affordable, like in the $1,000 range.
Oh,
Please
yeah,
send
I'm
us
getting
one.
that. I'm getting that.
Yeah, send us one.
Yeah.
Elon,
buddy, just give me one.
Elon. So the next morning, we are back at the house. Donnie's sleeping in the living room. Elizabeth is watching TV, and we get this news story about the fact that Jim Cunningham's house is burned down. But the biggest news that's revealed from this is the fact that he had a kiddie porn dungeon.
I don't like that you said it like that.
What do you mean?
Kitty, why could you just you find out that he's the head of a child pornography ring?
We don't know that though.
Yeah, you do, don't you?
No, it just
I
said
thought
he
he's
has a
just-
collection of porn.
Yeah, I just thought he was just part of it. I don't think he was the head of it.
Oh, and a few notes I saw that it said he was like the head of it. Or
Oh.
something.
We also find out near this area that Drew Barrymore's character is fired from the school.
Yeah, what's her name?
Miss-
Drew wasn't fired.
Miss Barrymore.
Miss Kitty Porn.
But we don't actually figure out why she's fired, except for the fact that it seems like the school now just has an agenda against these more progressively thinking people. And right after she's fired, we get an announcement from the principal that Sparkle Motion has, won a trip to some semifinals or some tournament somewhere else in America. And
They won.
Come on, spit it out.
They won for a trip to Mortal Kombat tournament.
Stupid.
Kitty, who is the creepy teacher that we've been talking about, she goes to Donnie's house and says that essentially that she's going to defend Jim Cunningham at his arraignment, and she wants Rose, Donnie's mom, to take care of Sparkle Motion while they go out for this tournament. And
I like this because it just shows how like fucked up this teacher is, because like she's only defending him because she's like the guy's her friend, but she's supposed to be this like really righteous religious person, like holding up all the family values. But then right when he's the one that gets in trouble for like the worst thing ever.
it also kind of
she's
seems
defending
like
him.
She also kind of seems like she's got like some weird crush on him or something.
Totally.
And this is where we get the iconic line where Rose is kind of reluctant about the whole thing, and then she goes, "Sometimes I doubt your commitment to Sparkle Motion." And
Maybe we'll just put the clip in there.
yeah, I think we should.
Sometimes I doubt your commitment to Sparkle Motion.
Next scene, Rose is talking to Donnie about the fact that she's leaving and to take care of the house and stuff. And they actually share a nice moment. It seems like their relationship is maybe mending a bit. And Donnie asks her, what's it like to have a weirdo as a son? And she's like, it's amazing. And it's kind of sweet, actually.
I like
So
that part.
fucking hot. Ugh.
Oh, you ruined it.
Okay.
I love you, son.
Oh, wow. Someone's been watching too much porn.
Any thoughts on that? Okay, silence.
What would you do if your mom loved you, Andy?
She does. I hope.
No, I'm sure she does. You're a nice guy.
How about your dad? Do you like your
Oh.
dad?
That's a whole, I think we mentioned this on a different podcast. That's a whole
Yeah.
another podcast episode. That's
We
real.
mentioned it on a different podcast. That's it. It's a whole different.
A different podcast episode is what I meant. And,
We shared that on Why Do Fathers Hate Us?
My dad loves me. I have great parents.
At this point, where are we? Oh, yeah. So we get actually quite a creepy scene here where Donnie is back in therapy. There's another hypnosis session. Donnie is now walking around in this hypnosis, and he's kind of freaking out. And it's escalating where he's getting more and more freaked out. And suddenly he points to like behind the therapist? She's in the room somewhere. He points, and he's like, he's right there. And it's Frank sort of just randomly appearing in this room. He looks up, and there's this weird sort of transition to some weird visuals. And
I was scared. I was really scared when I saw this when I was 16. I probably shouldn't have been watching it at like 3 a.m, but what are you going to do?
I still was kind of creeped out at the scene. I was telling Andy about this earlier today, that my brothers used to sort of mimic what Frank does in this scene, where they'd like just appear in random places looking at the ceiling. And for whatever reason, I was really creeped out by that as a kid. So this scene still for me was kind of creepy. And Donnie also says that he's going to kill and suggests that Frank is going to kill somebody. She takes him out of hypnosis. And now we get a transition that says, "One day remains." This is sort of the final stretch of the movie. Elizabeth gets a letter that says she got accepted to a school. I don't remember what school she got into, but it's a really prestigious university.
You don't remember?
Is it Harvard?
Your note says it right here. Liz got into Harvard or whatever fucking schools. And then Donnie throws a party. It's a Halloween party. Sound like a fucking 6th grader.
Yeah, he says we should throw a party because she got in to celebrate, and it happens to be a Halloween party, which is when the countdown ends. We're
on Halloween.
We're now at 6 hours remaining. Donnie has one of those chest things coming out of him again, and he's being pulled to the fridge, and the board on the fridge now actually says, "Frank was here, went to get beer." And then he sort of like this scene is very different in the original and the director's cut. I remember the director's cut being a little more refined here. Donnie's face starts like morphing and stuff, and it looks like he might be going through another portal or something, and he kind of faints. And suddenly he tells Gretchen and his friends that they need to go to Grandma Death's house immediately. And so they do. They bike to Grandma Death's house, and they wind up in the cellar. And
cellar door.
Ricky and his compadre, for whatever reason, end up tracking them down. And suddenly they're on top of him, choking him. And this is the scene where sort of everything kind of gets fucky, where a car drives by. At this point, one of the bullies has thrown Gretchen's character on the ground, like right in the middle of the road. And Grandma Death's out there as well. A car drives by trying to swerve away from Grandma Death, and in doing so, they end up running over Gretchen, killing her. Donnie, again, at this point, still has a gun. The bullies run away after she gets run over. Frank comes out with his mask off. Again, it's the same guy we see in the theater. And he's like, "What were you doing in the middle of the road?" And Donnie doesn't say anything. He just pulls out the gun and shoots him right in the eye that we saw damaged earlier. So it was almost like had already happened with whatever fucky time travel shit that's going on in the movie.
Gretchen getting run over still is like one of the worst scenes in the movie.
It's so brutal.
It's so sad.
I think we could probably put ourselves in some of these situations here, because a lot of shit happens at this point, including, again, Donnie getting choked out. There's 2 bullies here, and there's like 4 of them. Mm-hmm. I feel like there was a way out of this, and one of the friends is even dressed like Hulk Hogan and doesn't do shit.
I feel like in a lot of like 80s movies or movies that take place in the 80s, the bullies are just so violent and like can get away with just anything, and it seems like that's just the case here.
What would you do if your bully was choking you out?
I don't know why he just didn't grab that gun then.
That's true. Yeah, he could have just pulled out. Instead of pulling out his gun and aiming it at the bully, he starts reading lines from Watership Down. He's like, "Deus Ex Machina, Deus Ex Machina," and the bully's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then, again, they don't leave until Gretchen gets run over. I was so sad when she got run over.
Yeah. Okay, that didn't answer my question.
It's true. I'm trying to think.
So what would I do?
Yeah.
The gun. I'm going to shoot. I'm either going to shoot it in the air or shoot it at him.
That's true, yeah. They would have gotten scared away. I would do what Andy did. Would you just let them choke you because you like it,
I would get hard.
Who saw that coming?
It's a treat, you know?
Oh, it's
How
a treat.
often do you get this chance to just bust semi-conscious?
Also, what would you do if you saw... No, I don't want to go there. It's too dark.
What would you do if you saw
your girlfriend die?
Yeah, and the guy that ran her over comes out of this car and you've got a gun. Do you shoot the killer of your girlfriend or?
I'm probably going to shoot myself because that's going to be
Oh,
traumatic.
Man, it's getting dark.
I know.
It's getting Darko.
It's a Darko movie.
All
It's
right.
a Donnie Darko movie.
I don't know. I guess probably just factoring in my own kind of mindset. I think
think
I'd
by
be
that
so
time-
mad I'd probably like, bruh.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I would shoot him or myself.
I think
That's the
you'd be
thing.
pretty. I think you'd be pretty relaxed since you were getting
Off.
you were getting off earlier, with the choking and everything. So I think you'd be relaxed. I
That's
think you'd
true.
be
I'd
okay.
stand up, my pants are all wet, and I'm like, "You killed my girlfriend."
Anyway, what actually happens again? He shoots Frank. Frank's now dead. His passenger runs off, and Donnie's like, "Go home and tell your mom everything's going to be okay." And his acting here is great. It looks like he's actually lost his mind to some degree. Now, Donnie puts Gretchen into the car and drives away. And he actually drives Gretchen to where we see him in the start of the movie, in this weird sort of wild area where you can see over the landscape. And it looks like the sky is like...
Isn't it the same part of the beginning of the movie?
That's what I thought. Yeah. It's close anyways. But we see a view of the sky now, and the sky is getting all weird. The clouds are all in weird formations and stuff. And
It's another portal.
we're winding down now. It might be. There's some clouds that actually look like a tornado, and we're winding down now to no time remaining. I think there's about an hour left at this point. We now get, this is also just such a terrifying scene. Not like a typical horror terrifying scene, just like
Did
real
you say there
life
was almost
terror.
an hour left?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
No, in terms of like 1
and-
hour left in the,
I
in the
thought about the
countdown.
movie. I was like,
No.
where are you?
We see a flash of Donnie's mom. She's on the way home.
Oh, we see Donnie's mom flash. That's pretty sweet.
I mean,
Also, I like to
Is that
see
in the director's cut?
I like flash to plane with mom with time travel convo behind it. Plane terrifyingly starts to crash as opposed to like happily. I don't.
it just the detail in the crash scene, I feel like was like there's a lot of crash scenes in airplanes and movies, but I feel like the way they depicted it, the plane bursts open, the panic on Samantha and Rose, you only see it for about 3 or 4 seconds, but I feel like I imagine that's exactly what a plane crash would be like.
Yeah, it's scary. I'm glad I never watched this on a flight.
I'm glad too. That'd be fucking awful. And yeah, the conversations of Donnie's with his teacher about time travel are kind of happening in the background, which is something I don't think happens in the director's cut. I think that's only in the theatrical version. And then the plane, we see like a further out view of the plane crashing. Donnie's back in his room right now. He's laughing, again, nonsensically. And then we don't really necessarily, I think we do see it actually. We do see the jet coming down through his room again. And again, this time he's in it, and this is when Mad World starts playing. And this movie did wonders for Gary Jules, who did the Tears for Fears cover of the Mad World song, because the song has been used so much since this movie in so many different commercials and stuff.
Gears of War. It's a great cover.
And while Mad World is playing, we see all the various characters throughout the movie waking up as if they've all dreamed the movie, and they're all reacting like, holy shit, to this, again, experience that they all dreamed about.
It seems like a wave of emotion is hitting all of them
At the same time.
and they're not all asleep at that time though. Like it shows Frank, he's like crafting the bunny mask.
Yeah, and he's just sort of sitting there
And
deep
crying.
in thought. Donnie's dead, as if that wasn't clear. We get a shot now of his family in front of his house. They're all looking very devastated. And the final scene is kind of creepy as well. Gretchen bikes to the house, and it's clear at this point that she has no idea who any of these people are, with whatever, again, weird time lapse we're in. Another kid stands next to her, and she's asking him questions about like who these people are, who this family is. The little boy explains the fact that Donnie dies, and the very, very last scene in the movie, almost like she's not controlling her body, Gretchen lifts her hand up and waves to the mom who's like smoking a cigarette or something, and the mom waves back, and then the kid next to Gretchen also waves, and then the movie fades to black. And I never, again, I guess that part also was intentionally left up to interpretation. Like, are they kind of maybe remembering something happened between them in a different parallel universe or something?
Because they never met each other in the movie.
No. But it seems like there's some recognition of each other at this point. Yeah. And that's the end.
Yeah, so I guess what's your guys' takeaway of like the explanation for the movie? Like, what do you think happened? Because like I was saying, Richard Kelly was like, I don't fucking know, and there's tons of theories out there from fans, and he's actually been like, yeah, that could be it. Yeah, that one could be it.
I'd like to I don't want it to all be related to him being schizophrenic. I wish there was more to that, but it always seems like that was the most logical. Like this is just all dreamt up.
And I honestly never thought about that being a possibility. I just kind of tried my best to attach it to there being some weird, rift in the universe that everyone got sucked into, and maybe there were two weird parallel universes that Donnie was somehow traveling through. But yeah, I mean, looking back at it, I think maybe that would be the clearest explanation, is Donnie's just having some sort of mental lapse or something.
Because like hallucinations and things like that, and seeing things that aren't there, and noises, and being like, it's almost like you're being controlled by something else. That's definitely part of it.
Could be also maybe like how people say in their final moments they see their whole life flash before their eyes, but maybe he's saying like what would happen
if things were different.
Yeah, but personally I think it's definitely a time split kind of thing.
Yeah, I want it to be like that. That's what I would like.
You think that that's something that could happen in our real world, that
could be happening and we just don't know it?
Yeah, I know.
Well, they've talked about
like
scientists have talked about there being an alternate dimension.
I was reading one thing that scientists today think like time travel or like time loops, all this stuff actually would be mostly like this movie.
Interesting.
I honestly, when sometime during the middle of the pandemic, it was probably sometime when I was like doom scrolling, I got these weird thoughts about the fact that it felt like we have all, as a society, a civilization, got pulled into some weird parallel universe. Before the pandemic hit, I wouldn't have thought that the world we've been living in for almost the last 2 years could have been possible. So yeah,
it does seem like one big nightmare or dream, or it just seems like everything kind of just stood still.
So that's how I'm explaining the pandemic. We've all been pulled into a parallel universe that somebody has created.
And if it was really, really bad, it would be S. Darko, a movie I've never seen, but I'm going to judge.
All right. Any fun facts left over, Ryan?
Yeah, I got a couple more here. So the film, it was filmed over 28 days, which matches the length of time depicted in the film.
That's cool.
Amazing.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. This one, I think, is just real funny. Apparently, reportedly, Vince Vaughn was in talks to be Donnie Darko.
What?
But he turned it down because he was like, I'm just way too old to look like Donnie Darko.
That would be so weird.
That would have been awful.
It gets even worse, boys.
Okay.
Mark Wahlberg was interested in the part, but he said he would only do it if he could have a lisp.
What?
Yeah.
Why? Good God.
And then this one actually would have been, I think, in my opinion, would have been fine. Jason Schwartzman was also really considered to play, but because of scheduling conflicts, he wasn't able to.
That would have worked.
That would have worked. Just seeing Mark Wahlberg in that would have been just... Say hi to your mother for me.
But he would have said it with a lisp.
Say hi to your mother for me. I just sounded like Mike Tyson there.
We hope you've enjoyed listening to episode 11 of Survive the Night. On the next episode, we're going to be talking about Pet Sematary, but the original and not the remake from 2019. The original was in 1989. So if you haven't seen it and you want to get caught up, watch it. It's not really widely available on streaming services, but I'm sure you could track it down somewhere. My name's Amir. I've been hosting with Andy.
Hey, how you doing?
And Ryan.
Yes.
If you want to follow us on social media, you can do that on Instagram at s.t.n_podcast. On Twitter, we're at STN Pod. On Facebook, you can join our Facebook group just by searching Survive the Night Podcast. And if you want to email us, you can do that at survivethenightpodcast@gmail. I just had a stroke. I had a stroke. What happened? At gmail.com. I'm sorry. Thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you in the next episode. Bye.
Too tight to burn. Too tight to burn.